Hello, everyone. I'm Yolanda Harper with Harper Therapy. I am here today. It is coming to the end of the school year. I was at my son's school this morning. There was um, award ceremony for students, and it is really coming up hard and fast to the end of the school year. So I wanted to share today some study tips and some help for test anxiety, because boy, I don't think I know of anyone who actually likes to take tests. I know that we go through a lot of testing throughout our lives, and it's just something that we all dread. The last big test that I took, probably my licensing exam, but I definitely remember prepping, studying for the GRE, and I remember, hi, how are you? I remember studying for the GRE and just that feeling of like butterflies churning in my stomach as I went in to take that test. And I remember specifically sitting in front of the computer screen because it was administered via computer. I remember thinking, oh my goodness, I hope that the first question is an English question and not a math question. Because if it's an English question, I'm better at English. I feel like I can handle that. If it's a math question, that's just not how I want to start this exam. So all of us dread the idea of taking tests. This time of year, there are final exams happening for our teens. Teens, a lot of times are taking or retaking the SAT, ACT, prepping for college entrance exams, those types of things. So I wanted to share some tips today about how to navigate through that. So one, as far as studying, you got to study. You got to be prepared. If we do no studying, if there's no preparation, then it's understandable that we're going to be super anxious about taking an exam that we're not ready for. So here's the thing about that. We don't really enjoy doing things, and so we tend to procrastinate in doing them. We put it off. We're like, oh, I've got time. But the downfall of that is that then we're trying to cram a lot of studying, a lot of information into a short period of time. And guess what? Our brains don't function like that. We want to kind of hit that peak performance. When we look at performance, like down here, we're like slug. We're like on the couch watching Netflix. Up here at the top of the at the top of the performance level, over the top, that's the anxiety. So we want to hit some peak performance, and that means studying and preparing ahead of time. Also, know the test. Know the test format. Is it an essay test? Is it multiple choice? There is actually a lot of insight and understanding if you're taking SAT and ACT about how to take that test, how to answer the questions. So that's part of the preparation tool too. Another tip, don't pull an all-nighter. That is going to take us over the top for our performance, over that peak performance level. That is going to set us outside of our window of distress tolerance. If we have no sleep, then we all know that you don't think very clearly when you haven't had sleep. So don't put yourself in that situation. You're not going to be able to cram overnight and learn information that's going to be beneficial to you, that you're going to be able to recall during the test if you've stayed up all night and have no sleep. So don't cram just before either. If you have done your preparation work ahead of time, you've studied the content of what is going to be on the test, and you've studied the test format, don't spend that time right before the test cramming. That just puts you in an anxious state as well. I know that recently I was able to give a TED Talk. A lot of the speakers behind the scenes at the talk were really reading over their script. And in a lot of situations like that, reviewing the content, reading over notes, that's just going to increase your anxiety before you step into that performance. So don't do that either. Before you go to the exam, before you take your test, fuel your body. Don't be hangry. That's not going to lead to clear thinking either. So get something to eat, get something relatively healthy to eat, and try to move your body. Anxiety is energy. We've said that before. So as an opportunity to release that energy, move your body, go for a walk. That's one of the reasons why we pace when we're feeling nervous or anxious. So even if it's pacing around, get some of that anxious energy out. So that's leading up to the exam. What do you do when you enter that exam room? What do you do when you're taking that test? So if you put these other things in place, then when you're taking the test, when you're getting started with the test, you can remind yourself that you're prepared. When all of those doubts and questions come to mind, just remind yourself, like, I've done what I need to do to take care of preparing for this test. I'm ready to take it. Let's go. Also, just know that we're going to expect some anxiety. Again, that anxiety is energy. And so instead of viewing it as something bad and wrong, how about we view it as that energy that's going to help us complete the test, complete the task at hand, right? So that energy, or that anxious feeling, that little nervousness, that little buzz that's going throughout our body, the churning in our stomachs, let's kind of turn that from a negative thing into a positive thing, and reminding ourselves, okay, maybe not positive, but let's remind ourselves that this anxiety is energy that's going to help us complete the task. So we want to, if you're having a hard time getting started with your exam, kind of flip through and find a question that is easier for you to answer. Like I said, when I was taking my GRE, I was hoping and praying that there would be an English question to start the exam. You know what? If that hadn't been an English question, I got really lucky. It was, and so I felt pretty confident starting out. If it hadn't been, that I could have flipped down to the first English question on the test. I could have started with maybe what was on the last page instead of what was on the first page. Start with something that I knew so that I could build some confidence starting the test. When you are taking a test with multiple choice questions, go ahead and mark off the answers that you know are wrong to start with, right? And then after you've marked off the ones that you know for sure are wrong, then go back and make your decision about what the best answer is, and stick with that initial decision. Studies show that our first gut reaction, our first gut response, is usually the accurate one. As you are going through your test and you're reminding yourself that this anxiety is good energy for us to complete the task, and you're reminding yourself how well you've prepared for the exam, and you're reminding yourself that there are some steps that you can take if you feel stuck. What happens when the people around you start getting up and turning in their exam? Oh my gosh, that must mean that I'm doing something wrong if everybody else is finished before me. No, it's not that at all. Stay in your lane, keep your head down, keep plugging through the questions, go at your own pace. Don't get freaked out when you see other people turning their exams in. You have no idea what is happening for them in their exam taking process. So, some thoughts about taking exams, preparing for exams, and some tips on how to navigate through exam taking. If you need some more support with testing and exams, we are here to help. One of the ways that we help with exam and test anxiety here at Harper Therapy is that we are experts in accelerated resolution therapy. Accelerated resolution therapy, I can say it, I promise, or ART, is a non-traditional eye movement therapy. I know it sounds really weird, but the eye movements that we use, it's really moving eyes back and forth in the combination with the therapy itself. Those eye movements are very calming, so I happen to use them all the time to calm myself if I'm feeling nervous or anxious. Use them before I gave my TED Talk presentation. But if you have had experiences or a really bad experience with test taking, well, you can use ART to help process through that negative event. And we can also use ART, Accelerated Resolution Therapy, to help you see yourself taking your exam in a calm, relaxed state, knowing the material. Similarly to the way that athletes, Olympic athletes and such, have a visualization process for their training, this allows us to see ourselves successfully completing tasks, including exam taking. So If that sounds like something that would be beneficial for you, give us a call at our offices here in Lutz, Florida. We would be happy to talk through what's been happening for you, happening for your team, so that we can support you in setting ourselves up for success with test taking. So that is all for now from our Harper Therapy offices here in Lutz. I hope you are having an amazing day, and we will look forward to talking with you guys soon. Bye.